Hey, how's it going? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here with a movie review slash rant video for you guys. So we are finally at the end of this run of Expendables movie reviews. So for this review, I am going to be reviewing the latest entry in the Expendables franchise, the Expendables 4, which did come out this year, 2023, and to be perfectly honest with you, this is maybe the most disappointing movie that I have seen this year, 2023. So, yeah, overall, it just was not a very good movie, and it was somehow worse than I thought it was going to be. Now, when the trailers for this movie first dropped and everything, I know some people had their doubts, like some people had their complaints. Like, I know the stuff with Megan Fox, some people were like, I don't know if this is going to be any good or whatever. I mean, I've tried to be optimistic, which, you could say that that is a flaw of mine. I know that there are certain people that complain that I'm too optimistic about things, and, I get, excited for garbage, you could say. But of course, it all depends on the viewer at the end of the day, what they think of a movie. So I thought, yeah, it doesn't look perfect. Yeah, there's things about this movie that, definitely don't look good, but I think there's still potential that it could be a solid movie. But yeah, when I saw the movie, it's somehow worse than Expendables 3. And I thought, this movie has to be better than Expendables 3, but really, it's not. It's really not any better. The Expendables 3 is a way better movie than this, I would say. And the Expendables 3, I think, is just okay. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie or anything. It's just in the more okay side of things. But Expendables 4, this movie was a big letdown. Definitely the worst Expendables movie that we have gotten. So, obviously, yeah, the stuff with Megan Fox. Why is Megan Fox even in this movie? You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, there are some new cast members, like with all the Expendables films. Like each of the sequels, you get more action stars, more cast members, and I think that this might actually have the worst selection of actors, the Expendables members, the worst selection of the cast, I would say. Now, one of the only new cast members that I'm actually a fan of in this movie is Tony Jaa. I do like Tony Jaa's work for the most part. I mean, I don't like everything that I've seen from him. I know that he's done a lot of crappy movies, but he's also done some good movies as well. And I think he was pretty good in the movie. I mean, he was really only one of the only good things about this film. I thought the chemistry between him and Jason Statham's character in particular, I thought was well done, even though I think, they could have, done more with Tony Jaa. And even with Tony Jaa being in the movie, I do feel like he is somewhat underused. Yeah, I think it's just very unfair how Tony Jaa gets treated in this industry, because I think he does have potential, and I think he's a very good actor and a very good martial artist. So it is a shame that, he does a lot of crappy movies, and I don't think he is necessarily the problem. I don't think Tony Jaa is the problem. I think it's maybe either the script or the movie itself, or the way that it flows, how it goes. So I don't think it's Tony Jaa's fault. In fact, there's a lot of really great actors in this movie. Of course, you do have some of the original Expendables members back. You do have Sylvester Stallone. You do have Jason Statham, of course. And Dolph Lundgren, you have him in the movie as well. Which really, there's not really a lot of original Expendables members in this movie. So yeah, you don't have Arnold in this movie, you don't have Jet Li or any of those guys, but oh well, it is what it is. And like I said, I think the Expendables 4 has the worst cast out of all the Expendables movies, and I don't think anyone would really argue with that. So yeah, even with the announcement of the cast and everything, I thought, wow, they really could have done more. And as for the movie itself, it's still not all that great. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things about this movie that don't even feel like an Expendables movie. Like, as I was watching this movie, and this is a thought I had throughout the course of the movie, I'm like, is this really an Expendables movie that I'm watching? I mean, it definitely has some of that Expendables ingredients, you could say. It has some of that, you could say. But there's some parts of this movie that you're like, am I really watching an Expendables movie here? Now, yes, obviously, it's been so many years since the last Expendables movie, so obviously there's going to be some changes. So there's that. But Jason Statham, I think, is really the star in this movie. I mean, this could really pass as like a standard Jason Statham movie because, he was definitely the hero in the movie, you could say. Probably him, and of course Sylvester Stallone's character. And the stuff with him in the movie I thought was really stupid. Spoiler alert, the stuff where Stallone fakes his death, like towards the beginning, and then he comes back at the end, that was so stupid. Why did they go in that direction? Beyond me. I have no idea. That was really dumb. So now, when, let's say they do another Expendables movie and they actually do off Stallone's character, no one's going to buy into it because it's like, well, he's played this game before. He's faked his death, so there's no way he's really dead. So that was really stupid. And, when they found out that he was still alive, like, they passed it off like it was nothing. So that was really stupid. That was one of the dumbest things about this movie. The whole thing where Stallone's character faked his death and everything. I mean, that was really dumb. I mean, the movie has some good action scenes, especially, towards the beginning, like when, they're all driving and stuff and Jason Statham's on the machine gunner or whatever. I mean, all that stuff looks fine. I mean, that is very Expendables. Like, that scene in particular, yeah, it looks very Expendables-like. So I can't complain about that scene. But, like, whenever you get to the stuff when they're on the carrier and everything, I'm like, yep, I already know that the rest of this movie will take place on this carrier, and that's where the final showdown will take place and everything, and I was not wrong. So there's a lot of chaos going on this carrier, a lot of action scenes going on, They have to stop this explosive and everything, which, whatever. So the action scenes on the carrier, again, when it comes to the action scenes, some of the action scenes are fine, but some are like, yeah, not really anything we haven't seen from an Expendables movie before. Like, what stands out from these action scenes in comparison to the action scenes in the first 3 Expendables movies? So that's something worth thinking about right there. So then you finally get to the end where the main bad guy, he's all that's left. Jason Statham's character comes in and he's like, yeah, we're going to settle things the old-fashioned way. So you think there's going to be this big fight that goes on between Jason Statham and the main bad guy in this movie. You think, okay, cool. So, this could really give this movie some redeeming value. We could get some cool fight scenes, some cool cinematography in the fight scenes and everything. Let's see what they do here. But nope, because Sylvester Stallone comes out of nowhere in a helicopter and takes him out. Because remember, guys, Sylvester Stallone's character is not really dead. So there's that. So it's like, wow, that was lazy. That was really lazy. I mean, that is one of the things that, kept coming to my mind as I was watching this. A lot of things about this movie are very lazy. I mean, that is really one of the best words to describe this movie overall. Lazy. It's easily the laziest Expendables movie. So then it's like, oh, well, Stallone, you're not really dead. What really happened to you? All this and that, blah, blah, blah. So you know how this goes. The whole team, they evac from the carrier. Whoopee, they saved the day. And even the humor in the movie, I didn't think was all that great either. I found the humor in this movie to be very dumb. Yeah, this movie was just a major, major decline from the previous Expendables movies. I mean, I was really hoping for something great from this movie, to be honest. I was actually pretty disappointed by this one. I was really hoping that it would be good. Now, it does have its redeeming factors. It does. Like I said, I do like the stuff with Tony Jaa, even though I do have my complaints about the scenes with him. Mainly just due to him being underused. And again, some of the action scenes, they're kind of enjoyable. But once again, there's some action scenes where you're like, okay, well, why would I rather watch this than the previous Expendables movies? So that's something right there. So all in all, this movie was really disappointing. Again, I think it does have the worst cast of Expendables members. I don't think anyone would argue with that. And please, for the love of God, do not make any more Expendables movies. Please do not. Please let this be it. The third Expendables movie should have been the last one. So please, let Expendables 4 be the last. Because clearly, they keep getting worse and worse and worse as the sequels go on, of course. And if you were to ask me, how would I rank the Expendables movies? In the order that they came out. You know, from best to worst, first to 4. That's basically how it goes for me. So there you go. I don't have to do a ranking for all the Expendables movies because my ranking is basically the order they came out. So there you go. So overall, it was very generic. There was nothing special about it. And again, it was lazy. This movie was lazy. And I just have to wonder, why does this movie exist? This movie did not need to exist. It just simply did not. It probably was just a cash grab. Either that or they just ran out of ideas because, you know, we live in the era of cinema where, you know, they have to bring back franchises because, you know, everyone's just run out of ideas apparently. So they probably have this list of movies that they haven't done in a while, and they're like, well, we haven't made an Expendables movie in a while. Let's go ahead and continue that. But it was a bad idea. So there you go. So all in all, Expendables 4, not a good movie. Again, it does have a few redeeming values to it. There are a couple things to like with this movie, but overall, it's not very good. Pretty generic. Easily the worst of the Expendables films. So if I were to give this movie a score, I would probably have to give it, honestly, maybe a 3.5 or a 4 out of 10. Overall, very generic. So that is my take on the Expendables 4. Let me know what you think. Were you also disappointed by this film? Feel free to let me know. So on that note, thank you for watching. Have a good one.